My topic today is a story involving my experience in El Salvador. I want to share my childhood experience I shared at my grandparents' house that I will always cherish in my mind. When I was about 5 years old, my mother would talk about how my grandparents lived so far away from us that we needed to fly through the clouds to get there. How funny that I thought I was getting there, that we would fly and my grandparents' house would be on the clouds. I want to share my trip to El Salvador to you guys that I had at my grandparents' house and how memorable it was to me. As I have been to El Salvador, I can tell you what my experience for visiting El Salvador as a child. When I was around 7 years old, I made my first trip to El Salvador to visit my grandparents who lived far away from with my brothers and mother. It was an adventure for me yet to come with new events that would occur. Of course, after getting on our flight, I noticed that we flew through the clouds and we didn't land on them. After we landed on El Salvador, we drove to my grandparents' house, which seemed like a long drive with our tummies hungry. The food was not the same as McDonald's or my favorite pizza that I was used to eating at home. One of the foods my grandmother made for dinner was homemade tortillas. We got fresh corn and cut the kernels off until we had a big batch of corn. We got a smasher that was like a rock to smash the corn repeatedly until it turned into dough, which we called masa in Spanish. My grandmother then shaped them into tortillas and cooked them on a big stove with firewood heating it. The next morning, my grandmother made fried bananas and eggs for breakfast. She made fresh plantains and bananas from the tree and fried them with oil. She then grabbed eggs from the chickens she had in her yard, which slept in a tall tree overnight instead of the pen. The food experience was a different change, but getting to know the house was an experience itself. Getting to know my grandparents' house was curious and a funny adventure. There got to be a point when we had to go to the bathroom and noticed we didn't see one in the house. My brother and I decided to go to the field of plants to use the restroom there and use leaves as toilet paper.
No.
Later that day, we found out there was an outhouse and real toilet paper to use. My brother and I had a good laugh after that night. We would always talk about this day in the future. Walking around my grandparents' large land, there was maybe 10 acres. I saw different kinds of animals and an insect that caught my eye. I got to see beautiful wild parrots flying over the skies. I saw the biggest cockroach ever in my life that my grandmother stabbed outside in the yard. It was about half a foot long. I even saw a wild iguana that my older cousin was able to catch for me to see. The sightseeing on my grandparents' land in El Salvador was a great experience, and leaving it would all be missed. In conclusion, my visit to El Salvador was an encounter I will never forget. I'm glad I was able to finally visit my grandparents, who I rarely saw, while enjoying the food and views that I got to experience every day of their lives. As you heard, you can see how this experience was a memorable event that I will share with my kids and one day with my grandkids. Although it was sad to leave my grandparents, I will always remember the new things I had a chance to experience and can say that they were all fun and a laugh. And then, wait, stop.